So eBay have just announced that there's going to be no listing fees and no final value fees for private sellers on their platform. They're following the Vinted route, and it's got a lot of business sellers up in arms. But I'm actually going to come on and say my 5 reasons why I think this might actually, in the long run, be a good thing for business sellers on eBay. So hear me out, hear me out. Now, I'm probably going to get some very differing opinions in the comment section below, but my 5 reasons that I think this could be a good thing in the long run. And don't get me wrong, I get criticisms of this, and I'll talk about that at the end. But my 5 reasons, the reason number one is there's going to be a lot more eyes on the platform. There's going to be people who've never sold on eBay before on there, or list that, oh, I'll just have a quick look round while I'm here. Oh, that's quite nice. I'll get that. Or there's going to be people who, they've earned a bit of money, so they'll be like, well, I'm on eBay. I might as well have a quick look. So hopefully it's going to draw a lot more traffic onto the platform itself. Right. Reason number two is with the myriad of people, of private sellers on the platform, there's going to be a hell of a lot of really unprofessional looking listings out there with dodgy photos, no description, no measurements, nothing. And if you're a good business seller on eBay with decent professional, semi professional photos, good descriptions, all the sizes on there if you need it, the works, you're really going to stand out in a sea of absolute rubbish. So I think for business sellers, potentially you could stand out more and get those sales. So reason number three is that with this myriad of private sellers going on the platform listing stuff that they've got stashed away, that it could be actually a really good sourcing and buying opportunity, especially coming into the winter when the car boot sales aren't on. That there could be, much like how people are sourcing on Vinted and other platforms, there could be some really good deals out there of sellers who just think, oh well, there's no listing fees. I'll stick it on eBay. So, it could go to the good old days of refreshing the page for buy it nows and waiting for auctions, and that's that kind of side of it, that you could potentially get some quite good deals for that. Number four could be essentially you beat them with the experience. Now, there's going to be a whole host of sellers coming onto the platform who've never had to deal with dodgy buyers, and this will link into my final point, is that it could make a lot of people go, oh sod that, I don't want to list on eBay, it's nothing but problems, because maybe before people have been timid in what they've listed because they didn't want to pay to list it. Oh, it's too expensive to list, so we'll stick all this on eBay. And if they get a bit of a bad experience, with people scamming them, or like bad feedback or return, I know they won't have to take returns, but you will if it's not as described. So if you get exposure to that, perhaps then it'll make those people subconsciously value business sellers on the platform more. So if they then were to buy on eBay, they'd be more likely to pick a a business seller over a private seller. And the flip side works for as a buyer. If you've had bad buying experience off a private seller on there, you've bought loads of bits and it's turned up damaged or the discs are scuffed or whatever, you're going to be like, oh no, sod that. I'm going to buy off a business. So you can beat them with experience in that sense. So the last point, point number five. Now this is a slightly optimistic one, but potentially it kind of makes sense in my head roughly, is that because you're gonna be having people, I'm assuming, coming in at the lower price point on things because they wouldn't naturally price high. You're gonna have a lot of low value items coming into the market. And what I tend to find is that 90% of my problems are with 10% of the buyers, and they are always the cheap items, or always the cheap items. So if you can shift those scam and idiot buyers onto private sellers, then hopefully they'll get they'll be busy with dealing with those, and we won't have to experience as many of those idiot buyers. It's very optimistic, but I would hope that that would be the case. Now, this list is kind of wishful thinking on my part. I hope it does pan out that way. And I am listening to people's feedback on this, and there's some very angry people about this. And it does feel like business sellers have been friend zoned as such. We've had a bit of a raw stick with this one. But it was going to happen with Vinted and with Vinted Pro coming out. This was going to happen. So it didn't surprise me at all, and I don't feel too annoyed about it because the amount of like free listing weekends and allowances that private sellers get anyway, it didn't bother me. But I can understand how some people are very angry, and that some businesses are going to try and circumvent the rules. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I know they've said, "Oh, we'll look out for people trying to do this." They won't be able to police it very well, I don't think. But it's just not worth it. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments section below. Be civil. I'm not saying 100% it's going to be a positive thing, but I'm trying to put a positive spin on it because there is so much negativity out there. But I get it. I totally get it because um, it's a kick in the balls. It just doesn't feel again like eBay value their business sellers. They value their big business sellers. They love them and they like the private sellers. But as a sort of a medium, middle of the road, or I've got like a medium shop, you don't feel valued at all. But I haven't felt valued for a long time. But when I compare it to platforms like Amazon, they do not care about you one little bit. So actually, from stepping back a little bit, yeah. Anyway, if you like this kind of video, I'll pop another one here where I'm a bit more grumpy. But let me know what you think in the comment section below because there's definitely some very varied opinions on how this could have been rolled out differently, whether then going forward they'll change it because people are saying that it could be just till the new year and then final value fees will get put on the buyer's side like Vinted. Don't know. So let me know. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.